Good morning, everybody. Just going to give it a moment, as usual, on these webinars, just to allow people to filter through from the waiting room. So bear with us a moment or two. Okay, let's get started. Thank you for joining us this morning. We were, as we always do on these calls, just discussing the British weather. So I'm hoping somebody somewhere has a bit of sunshine. At the moment, the three of us in three different parts of the UK all have grey, wet weather. But thank you for taking the time out of your grey or sunny Friday morning to join us to talk all things Cultural Enterprises Conference and Trade Show 2026, obviously with the emphasis on trade show. My name is Fionnuala O'Donovan. For those of you that don't know the team, I'm the head of events here at the association, joined today by Fee Anderson, who is our creative development manager, and also joined by our very new chief executive, Paul Griffith. We are also going to be joined, we're due to be joined by Daniel Wild, who is from ICC Birmingham, from the provider of the Shell scheme, who's going to be able to talk you through a little bit of all of the ways they work and the add-ons. So we're hoping Daniel's going to be able to join us in a few minutes. But we're going to get started just now anyway. And the very first thing we're going to do is hand over to Paul to say hello. And this is only his second public appearance as chief executive of the association. So a bit of an exclusive for those of you joining us today. Paul, over to you.
Hey, thanks, Fionnuala. Good morning, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you this morning. For those of you I've not met, as Fionnuala said, my name is Paul Griffiths. I'm the new Chief Executive of the Association for Cultural Enterprises. This is day 10 for me, so it's the end of week 2, day 10, and it's been quite a frantic last 10 days, and I really hope to continue that pace, getting out, meeting everyone, and getting to see you all. I want to just take a few minutes to start the webinar just to say hello, set out a few bits and pieces of how I see the organisation moving forward, but most importantly, working with yourselves as our partners and suppliers. As suppliers, associate members, you are so important to the association. You really are a crucial part of what we are about. Our association exists, obviously, to support the business side of cultural enterprise and culture in general. And that doesn't just mean our museums, our galleries, our heritage sites and attractions. It means the suppliers, partners, innovators who work so closely alongside them. You guys are all obviously integral to the ecosystem of cultural enterprise. Without your products, your services, your creativity, our sector really couldn't flourish. And that's why, you're not bolt-ons to our organisation. You're an essential part of what our association stands for. We as a team really, really value your membership, your input, and particularly your continued support of our conference, and particularly the trade show, which we'll be obviously talking far more about this morning. I'm aware that many of you on the call are real existing, been with us for many years, existing supporters of the conference. Well, I know there's other people here today who are newer to the Association for Cultural Enterprises and maybe deciding whether to join us next year in Birmingham. And my encouragement will be really simple. If you are thinking of joining us, please do. It's a fantastic opportunity to connect with over 800 cultural decision makers all in one place and at one time. And of course, it's more than just a trade show. It's where people meet, where ideas, partnerships are formed, and future projects are really sparked. And I know from being on the buyer's side of the house over my career, many years, this is where great conversations happen and great new ideas come about. So, as the new CEO of the organisation, my priorities is to make sure you guys all feel very welcome, you're listened to, and you feel very connected. I invite you to reach out to me. Many suppliers have already, which is great. Reach out to me if you'd like to talk about, the trade show, your experiences of membership, or even how we can work closely together. I really look forward to seeing you all in Birmingham. They've only given me a couple of minutes to speak this morning, so I will round up here. Just I do need to leave you before the end of the call. I've got another diary commitment at 11:15, so I'm really sorry. I will be darting out before the end. It's not because I've lost interest. It's just how I'm sure you all know how diaries work. So thank you again for being part of the association. Thank you for all you do for our sector, and I will hand you back to Fionnuala.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you. And Daniel, welcome and thank you for joining us today. I had already mentioned you before you joined, so it wasn't a massive surprise that you suddenly popped up on the screen. Okay, so the plan for today is Fee is going to do the vast majority of the talking for you. I'm just really setting the scene, some of which Paul has already just covered for us. Please feel free at any point to pop any questions, thoughts, comments in the chat or in the Q&A function. And I'll be keeping an eye on that throughout. We will come to them as soon as they come in, if it's appropriate in that moment, or we can come to them at the end of the session. To firstly explain the team to you, for those of you that are new to us and haven't been to one of our trade shows before, my role is head of events. I'm the kind of lead over the entire event, but your main point of contact across the next few months and the 3 days that you're on site with us in Birmingham is 100% Fee. She is the fountain of all knowledge for everything trade stand related, floor plan related. And she's very ably supported by our colleagues, Julia Heppel and Charlotte McCardle, who some of you may have already come across. And you will meet both of them as well at a later point. My role is to make sure, in relation to yourselves as suppliers and exhibitors, is to make sure that the delegates are in the trade show hall as much as is physically possible. And I build all of our programming around this priority. So from catering, everything is in that space. We have a stage in that space. We have various other points of interest, seating areas within that space. And the actual program of the conference sessions, because they do run obviously concurrently with the trade show, again, is always taking into account the amount of time that we can keep delegates in that space, short of locking the doors and not letting them out until the end of the day. But I'm also always in the background. So if Fee's on leave, if Julia's on leave, if there's any questions, I'm also readily available by email or by on the phone if you do have any questions above and beyond what Fee, Julia and Charlotte can help with. So who we are, the association, we are an organisation that's been around in some form or another for quite a number of years. It must be over 40 years now. It must be closer to 50 years. We established as a charity in 2010 and have grown significantly since then. We're an education and training charity, but also obviously a membership organisation. And we are here to make sure that the cultural sector is commercially viable, and by fostering best practice, by offering opportunities for people to learn from each other and for this community to connect. And as Paul has eloquently put it, yourselves as suppliers are at the core of that. I've always my analogy has always been that the cultural venues that are members with us and the suppliers are two sides of the same coin, and you're an integral part of our community. We have over 440 members representing over 1,800 sites across the UK and beyond, Ireland, Germany, Sweden, into the States, Australia and New Zealand. So we really do cover the full breadth of the cultural sector. And when I say the term cultural sector, that is we have a very broad definition of that. That covers everything from, as you can see, the traditional museums and galleries, the nationals, so National Gallery, V&A, National Theatre, English Heritage, right down to national park authorities, small heritage sites, mills, things like that. So we really cover the whole breadth, zoos, the whole breadth of the sector. And what our conference and trade show exists to do is to bring you all together once a year at our showcase event. And it really speaks to the core of what we do, bringing this community together for 2 days of inspiration, engaging conversations, networking, really at the heart of it, and building on those relationships you already have, but the opportunity to establish new ones as well. Liverpool in 2025, back in March of this year, was our biggest to date. We had over 800 people on site across 2 days. Obviously, yourselves that are returning to us as exhibitors make up a portion of that, but the vast majority is our delegates. And that is an incredible growth over the last couple of years. In Birmingham, with it being so central, we are anticipating further growth in our delegates above and beyond that. As part of all of what we do, Paul has already mentioned it, we want to hear from you. We obviously send out a feedback survey at the end of each conference and trade show. We listen, we read everything that you write to us, we listen to everything that you say to us, and we actively then use that in our planning for 2026. We are scheduled to go on sale to delegates next week. It is a little bit later than previous years, but we have been really busy planning the programme and expanding the programme to make sure that we are capturing those people that you want to meet, those buyers and decision makers and people of influence that can go back and speak to their teams about the trade show when they leave at the end of the 2 days on site. So that's enough for me. That's really just a very quick scene setting. I will be keeping an eye on the chat and the Q&A. I'll jump in at any point if there's anything extra to say, but really at this point it's over to you, Fee. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Fionnuala. And yeah, just thanks so much everybody for coming along today and for that brilliant introduction. I feel like I've had to skip through some of my notes now. Everyone's stolen what I was going to say. But just I wanted to as well, before we move into everything, just as another bit of scene setting, you know, we know it's been a really tough few years for our members, for our associates and for those working within the cultural venues. Funding cuts, rising costs, cost of living crisis, and the sector has had to adapt to become really more commercially creative. And I know that you guys are feeling this too. And what is encouraging, as I've been part of the association now for 4 years, is that I've seen from both sides more interest for people who want to, they see the kind of the opportunity in the market within that cultural sector, like from people, brands, businesses like yourselves who have joined us today, but then also that the negative external factors have presented a positive opportunity, and our delegates are here to learn. Our numbers have been increasing at the event, at our other events. They want to share experiences, they see the value in networking, and they are here to seek out new opportunities. Our community is actively seeking collaborations with both trusted and new suppliers. And so, yeah, we're really excited to be heading to the heart of Birmingham, and we'll be taking up residency again for 2027, so we can really lean into that. It's a great location with brilliant access routes, and we are building great relationships within the city to help us deliver a really vibrant in-person event. So yeah, we believe it's a really brilliant opportunity to showcase your work and to meet those key decision makers within the cultural sector. So let's have a little look, talk a little bit more now about what actually happens during the event. So it's not your typical trade show. For me, it's almost, if you went onto our website and you saw absolutely everything that was happening, our community, our members, the learning, the resources, it's absolutely everything that you can see online, just brought to life over a couple of days, bringing everyone together. So as we've mentioned, a big part of what our members like is networking. We'd really like to try and find a new word for that. But yeah, we're social creatures, and we want to make sure that there are opportunities to connect in a variety of ways and to bring everyone together. So you know, as Fionnuala said, it's part of her whole role to find different ways to keep these connections going. We'll be looking to host a number of different social events around the conference, and each year presents a new opportunity for us to reshape how that might look. or, you know, return to something that is tried and tested. So yeah, you can typically expect to have a very warm welcome, and be very well looked after. And yeah, we just want to really celebrate everyone being together, our biggest event, and being in a vibrant, wonderful city. And with the help of our connections in Birmingham, we're able to yeah, just tease that out a little bit more. And you know, I think we should have some really exciting, the program should be really exciting. We also host an awards ceremony during this the time that we are all together. So that's recognizing the achievements of our culture community and also the suppliers, businesses and brands that support them. All of these aspects are not only what attracts the caliber of delegates to the event, but it gives you guys the opportunities to connect in a variety of ways. You're not just beholden to your stand. You can you can learn about what people are up to. You've got good icebreaker conversations in the room, and yeah, you can just get to know our community and the inspiring things that they're all doing. And so then obviously the big part of it is the conference, alongside the trade shows. So it's a hugely important part of why the delegates come, and how they can justify being in attendance. So remember, they are, you know, every penny counts, basically. They are fighting tough budgets and have to justify being there. And they want to learn from their peers. It's their time out as well, to connect. As Fionnuala mentioned, she works really hard to make sure that the programme you know, offers enough variety, enough flexibility, and it's hosted across a number of stages, with one being within that trade show hall, as Fionnuala mentioned. So you might expect to have some quieter times where popular sessions are being held, but you know, we encourage you to make the most of being at the event and get to a session if you can, hear the voices in the room. And yeah, it's just, you know, make the most of the time that you're here. So we've touched on who our members are, so hopefully that gives you a bit of a flavour of the variety of you know, different organisations that might be in attendance, and the different elements of the event. And I'd like to delve a little bit deeper into who the audience is for our conference and our trade show. So our community is largely made up of those operating in the commercial teams, and key decision makers. You might expect to meet experienced buyers, as Paul mentioned. He's been in attendance like from that realm of it, operating across multiple sites, perhaps nationwide, or even a really seasoned buyer who are used to working with big budgets, making sharp decisions. And then, as Fionnuala touched on, expect to meet those working in smaller emerging venues, perhaps even starting out in their careers, perhaps, you know, running absolutely everything. It's incredible what people do. And as well as being a brilliant curated trade show, this is also a networking and knowledge sharing event. When I first met Paul for the first time, one of the questions that he put to us is, what do our members value the most from our association? And the first thought that came to my mind, and the only thing that I could really answer, was each other. They want to connect. They are, you know, I've heard people say, like, I'm with my tribe, and the conference offers them that time to get away from the day-to-day challenges, take time to talk and to learn. So just be mindful of this when you're interacting with the delegates and when you're preparing yourself for what might be happening. Ask them what they've enjoyed, you know, what sessions were interesting. Those are your great icebreakers. And so, yeah, just really tailor your approach to match what is going on in the room. It's not a busy, fast, I'm going to buy this, this, and this. It's not spring fair. It's not top drawer. It's very different. We've got so much other elements to it, I suppose. But it is your moment, and to get in front of this audience, and perhaps you want to think about fun things that you can do, and we'll talk a little bit more about this, but, you know, perhaps, you know, setting up an exclusive discount which could help you measure your success of the show, or entice new and returning customers. And we'll look at these ideas with Daniel's insights as well. So yeah, it's a great opportunity to learn about what's going on in the sector, what your customers and your potential customers are going through, and what they're interested in, what they're up to. Yeah, just open up those conversations that are a bit softer, not all about hard sell. Yeah, people just really want to build those meaningful connections, and looking for people that can support them on their journey. So again, just thinking about understanding who it is that you're talking to. You might want to be prepared for types of conversations you might have. Learn their language and understand what you can deliver. Put yourself in that buyer's position and think about what is motivating them. Are they looking to replace a product or service? Are they looking for something new? Are they looking to continue on a development with you? Can you offer them exclusivity or a bespoke product or service? And then, yeah, just be honest about capacities, your capacity, your lead times. Be prepared with your pricing and price breaks, what you can deliver, and where and how your goods or services are made and how you are working. Potentially what extra storytelling you can offer. And be really confident and passionate, as you guys are the experts, and this might be the one conversation that you have with your dream customer. Sustainability, transparency, and storytelling are going to be real keys to success. Make yourselves relatable, show how your products and services can help them reach their own goals. And if you haven't created the greenest product in the world yet, or you're shipping in from overseas, be transparent and explain why that's where you are, why that's the best decision, and what your future plans may be and how they might be able to help you get there. Right, so now I'm going to hand over to Daniel from Fully Connected, who sees firsthand all kinds of these live events and knows how best to look after our exhibitors. Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you, Fee, and thanks everyone for coming today. So yeah, lots of things to think about, and lots of things to kind of consider in terms of your planning and your preparation for the show. Lots of different sort of varieties, and just to give you a bit of background about me, so I've been with the NEC for a while now, and one of our ventures that we look after is Fully Connected, where we are sort of the whole contractor for the show. But one of the benefits of what we do is that our offices are situated right above the halls at the NEC and at the ICC. So we get to see it all. And I suppose that's really what I wanted to kind of share today, is that if you have got ideas or thoughts or questions, or just want to run something by somebody, we've got a whole team of people that within the Fully Connected team that will be able to sort of talk it through and help. With the stands and the kind of exhibition stands that you can see in front of you, there's lots of things to consider, and this is where really the planning comes in, to kind of try and make the maximum impact. So you will all get a copy of this, but in essence what you will have on your stand is various different panels, and there's lots of different ways that you can dress and shape, how you showcase your product, and how you put across your message. I've seen some exhibitors do the storyboard, so just touching on what you said, Fee, not just having the story to tell, but having a story to show on the sort of the background of your stand, or within the sort of the products. And I suppose the biggest thing for me is around kind of making that maximum impact. So I think the key thing is around two kind of strategies, and the first one is around how do you attract people to your stand, because that's the most important thing. You can turn up to a show and you've got lots of visitors coming past you, lots of potential clients that you'd like to speak to, but what's going to draw them over, what's going to kind of get them to speak to you rather than the stand that's next door, because that's the important thing. You want to engage in conversation with people. And then the next thing to consider really is, once they're on your stand, how are you going to keep them on your stand? And there's lots of different things that you can think about and do. And we've had it all, really. We've had really sort of low level sort of 2x2 stands that have really saved a lot of money in terms of their stand cost, but in terms of the message that they have put across has been really impactful because of what they've thought about on their stand. And then we've had huge stands who have asked to rig animals from the ceiling and see if that is possible. So the creativity is sometimes a little bit out there, but that's really where you're going to maximize what you do. So a few points just to go through, obviously, in terms of thoughts that you might have. So the biggest thing I'd say is about the strategy that you take, and the first thing is around planning. So I would really spend time with the people on your stand planning, spend time with the team at Cultural Enterprises, and us if you want to, so that you can really kind of come up with your best strategy to attract people and um, to keep people on your stand. The next thing is all the sort of smaller details are really important. So even sort of thoughts from, who's going to be talking about what, who's going to be sitting on the stand, who's going to be standing up, do you take it in turns? Are there things that you can do with in terms of your message and pre-planning? So, we've had a lot of exhibitors who have gone out beforehand to all of their key contacts or people that they're dealing with it at the moment, or people that they want to deal with, and invited them to a meeting either on their stand or make use of all the food that is going to be available in and around the halls, to a bit of a sort of a networking lunch together. And it's that level of planning and that level of detail that is really worthwhile to kind of get that impact. The next thing I kind of mention is, how are you going to promote that you're going to be there? One of the best opportunities that a lot of people can take advantage of is kind of be a show sponsor. A show that I went to recently, I was speaking to a company, and they kind of missed the boat a little bit with being a sponsor, but they had a brilliant idea in terms of a networking lunch within the show, because there wasn't all the food there. And they actually approached the organizer and said, look, we've got this idea. It's going to give us presence. We want to work with you. And they managed to kind of pull that off. So I'd say that, having that presence within the show, whether it's giveaways that you're doing, or sort of prize reels, or spin the wheel games, that's what's going to be the memorable thing that people are going to take away. So when they've got to make a decision, of all the people that they met, who they want to buy from or who they want to use, that's the bit that will stick in their mind. And how creative you are with that is endless, really. And you can come up with a great idea that has a really low cost. Couple of things I've seen is, like, I guess the sweets, guess how many sweets are in the jar, to sort of really interactive stands where there's games. And I've seen golf, I've seen cricket, rugby, all things that you can have on the stand or within the stand that's going to enable you to have that conversation with them. Because it's not everybody's day-to-day job is turning up at an exhibition. So there's a lot of people who are going to be comfortable talking to people. There's going to be a lot of people that maybe aren't. So think about who's on your stand. Think about how comfortable they would be to kind of generate that sort of level of conversation, and give them the tools to do that. And all those interactive tools, things to hold in their hands, things to engage people, gather information. Those are the tools that really go into a really effective show. Because I've walked around a show and I've seen people just sitting on their stand, and there's nothing to engage with for the audience. So nobody wants to go over and have a conversation. And then I've seen stands where there's lots of, pens or squidgy balls, or, there's a big jar of sweets that is instantly going to bring somebody over and say, oh, what are you doing? What is it that you do? And then, the people on the stand are more comfortable to start a conversation. And that's the memorable thing. And then you can even grow that, because a lot of the world now has gone into social media, LinkedIn, Instagram. A lot of people are sharing stories, and if they're sharing a story about an interaction that they've had with you or your stand, that's when it's going to even reach a wider audience, because they've either won the prize and they're going to post about it, or you can post about it, or they have, going to sort of interviewing you, and you can sort of plan that as part of your day, a couple of days.
Those are such good ideas, and I think I've got some images later that will show from some of the recent shows that I've been to, like some of what Daniel's saying. I mean, you see it every day. You're always at different shows. You see them of different shapes and sizes. So yeah, and it doesn't have to be too expensive either. It can just be something small and memorable, and that kind of storytelling is really important, I think. If it's okay, I'd like to just have a look at the shell scheme and just what's included in the package. This is these are images that one of your colleagues, Matt, sent. He was like, it's not that great, but it will be for those of you who've joined us in previous years. The walls are still that kind of thin Fomax. Am I right, Daniel?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you'll get a light fitting, a plug point, table and chairs if required. If you don't need them, if you've got your own branded thing, that's totally fine. Just tick a box on your exhibitor form. Electrical testing, fully carpeted. You'll have the fascia name board. And yeah, drinks and refreshments and lunch and refreshments over the 2 days. But yeah.
Can I jump in with a really important question very
Yep.
quickly? Because I can't remember, even though I've been several times. What color is the carpet?
It's grey. It's a dark grey. Is that right,
dark
Daniel?
grey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know that can be really important for people when they're planning their stand and their colors. So it's a really nice neutral, fully carpeted trade show hall. The whole space is carpeted. So I just wanted to emphasize that because there have been questions over that in the past.
Yeah, no, good point. And the lights are on your stand, the one light on your stand. Obviously, if you've got a bigger stand, you might need to order extras. Would you agree with that, Daniel?
Yeah, lighting is, relatively important. If you want to showcase something, you can have extra lighting. People do tend to do that quite often.
Yeah. And just make sure that we are pat testing anything before any extras before it comes in. Otherwise it might be removed. Then just to
Sorry,
quickly,
I'm just going to quickly jump in again, very quickly. I just think it's just to give you all a picture in your head of what the trade show hall is going to look like. So you will have seen from the floor plan, it's not a square, it's not a rectangle, it is an octagon, which definitely through Fee in particular, myself and Julia, when we were building the floor plan with ICC Birmingham, some challenges. But what they do have, and only those of you that were with us in Newport, you'll remember they had panels on the ceiling that were different coloured lights that we were able to zone and have different coloured lights. They don't have panels on the ceiling of this hall, but what they do have is, what are they called? They're almost like sails, Daniel, aren't they?
Yeah.
That we can have lights. So it'll be a really lovely lit space. So while the carpet is dark grey, and you have one spotlight to begin with, and we do have lots of lighting, and it will be colourful to match in with obviously our branding, but also how colourful we know a lot of your stands can be. So there's it's not just a dark kind of cold looking trade show hall. There's going to be a lot of warmth in there.
Yeah, and every member of the Fully Connected team that I have met has been so helpful and so calm. They will help us make sure that your stand looks top notch, and they'll be with us on build day when you guys are getting your stand ready. So yeah, as Daniel said to me on one of the calls, he was like, no ask is too big. Maybe an elephant is too big. We're not going to do that. So yeah, we've got the similar restrictions as we have in the past years. Do not damage these walls. They need to be recycled, they need to be reused, but there is special tape that you can order that Daniel was chatting to me last night about. Anything else to add on the restrictions, Daniel? Or
no, I think that's it really. The NEC approved tape, the just double-sided tape, it fits to the shell, and then it can be easily taken off. That's why that's the only one to use. And it's just, I think, about being sensible. The build days can be quite intense and lots of stuff going on. So it's just a case of, first of all, keep yourself safe, and then secondly, obviously make sure all the equipment's safe as well.
And I'd add in a third that if you're not sure, ask before doing anything or looking at anything. If you're not sure, ask one of our team or one of the ICC team. There'll be plenty of us around on that Monday. A couple of quick questions before we move on, if that's okay. The lighting, is it LED lighting? And if so, is it in strips or other, if they were to add on from the spotlight?
There is a choice. There is LED lighting, yes, in strips. There's two different size LED bars, yeah.
Great. So they'll be able to see that on the when they have a look at the different things that they can book through you.
Yeah.
With the fascia name board, Dominic has asked, do we have to get that printed, or does it come with our brand name on it? So I can answer that. It will come with your brand name on it. But what is really, really important is that when you fill out your exhibitor info form that you get from us, you make sure that whatever you put in that section, that question, whatever you put in that field is exactly how you want it to be printed. Because obviously, once you arrive on site on that Monday, we can't reprint them. So just be very, very clear. We've got plenty of time before then to get it right. So if you need to double check, do double check with us. Oh, there are more questions coming in. Can Velcro be used on the panels, Daniel? No.
I'd
So
say no, because the Velcro that we've had previously hasn't got the right sort of tape on the backside, so that it then
okay.
sticks and damages.
So we're best to go with that double-sided tape, the
Yeah,
NEC
yeah.
approved
We
tape.
do, as long as it's not something that's not going to damage the shell. But if you
So
Google NEC approved double-sided tape, I think it's on
okay,
Amazon and various other things, if that's what you want to use.
perfect. And any PPE required for build day?
Standard PPE that you would need if our sort of builds tend to be, if you need a hard, steel cap shoes. I don't think there's anything that's going to be going on in the hall that's going to need that.
No.
So just
Also,
general safety, stuff
yeah,
that
all of the
people
shell
like to do.
scheme is already built before you arrive on site, Grant. And if you remind me, when we last met with ICC, we did talk about high vis. Do they need them on the Monday? I
I
don't
don't
think
think they do,
they
because
do.
there's
No,
nothing, because
no.
we would need it if the shell scheme was being built at the same time,
Yeah, but
but
it's
it's
not.
not. So
So our understanding is nothing special, Grant, is required. But again, when we are kind of coming closer to sending you out all of the final information you need in advance, we'll have the exhibitor manual. That's a live document, so that will be updated as and when we get more information from ICC, from Fully Connected, from ourselves. Just make sure you go back and revisit that before you pack your van or pack your car. To bring everything that you need to Birmingham, if that's okay. Okay, that's it for now. Thank you.
lovely. So yeah, you can see in this image a little glimpse into our hall and the sales that Fanula's talking about. It's a little bit blurry, but yeah, it does look quite nice and vibrant when it's all come to life. So I've seen the order form from Fully Connected. It's not the most attractive thing, but it does the job. It's let's hope it's foolproof. So that will be included in the exhibitor guide. We can email it out to you as many times as you need it, and you just deal directly with Fully Connected. They will help you with whatever you need. They've been very good so far. So yeah, I don't know if there's anything else you want to add about the products available and how to order.
So there'll be a team that you can speak to. You can phone us, you can email us, you can just fill out the form with what you need. If you've got any questions, the one thing I would say is, I think you referred to it earlier, there's no ask there's nothing that's silly to ask. There's nothing that's too big. We, have a lot of things at our disposal, and we've seen a lot. So I would say have a read through. We tend to get a lot of question about power. So again, we've got guides, we've got people who are qualified and will answer the right question. I would avoid having the multi-plugs because there is certain power restrictions. We have had instances in the past where we've had an exhibitor kind of plug too much into one plug through one of these extension cords are fine 1-to-1, but it was like a 1-to-4, and then they had a multi-plug in and big powerful machines in. So I'd just say that's the only really thing. If you need lots of power to your stand, which doesn't always it's not always the case, but those are the questions to ask, because we don't want a power grid to go down during the show, because that's a potential bit of a nightmare. So, but
Yeah,
ask the question. We're here to help. We'll talk you through it.
no, thank you on the power going down. I would suggest that you will get quite a lot of communications from us over the coming months, and particularly in those last few weeks in the run up to it. We don't send out anything that isn't 100% necessary. and full of really useful information. So please just read everything we send you, read it again, bookmark links. And if at any point you need something, just give us a call, and Charlotte, who is usually the person that answers the phone, will be able to email you whatever you need straight away. So don't wonder, just read through all the information we send and come back to us. And what I would say is we have absolute confidence in the fully connected service, which is why we've gone with them. Obviously, you will have those of you again who've been with us before. We've had various different shell scheme contractors that we've worked with over the years who've been fantastic. And this year we decided to go with the in-house team of Fully Connected because they know their venue inside out. They know any of the other local suppliers that might be needed to be brought in for things. And they have everything close at hand. So just rely on their expertise, please, because they are experts at what they do, which is why we've gone with them. So we have absolute confidence. You should too. Very quick question. There was a mention on the restrictions slide about graphics. There was some restrictions around graphics. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
So let me just go back. I think what I've put there is that, well, that's an extra. So your shell scheme will be plain white. You need to work with the Fully Connected team if you want to have your panels printed and fully branded. So it's not that you can't do it. It's just that we're not going to do it for you. It's an extra. Yeah. And please do it. That will make it look colorful and vibrant, as we have been seeing. So yeah, hopefully that answers that question. Wonderful. Okay, so let's crack on. Thank you, Daniel, for all of those insights. You're going to have so many questions, I bet. I like to highlight this quote from Simon Sinek, just going back to these ideas about storytelling. Personal connection is so important when interacting and building new relationships. We've mentioned already, budgets are tight in the sector. The commercial teams need to deliver and are looking for ways to connect with their customers as well, and deliver meaningful products, services, and experience. They're looking for these creative ways to drive income, and will be looking for passionate, innovative solutions and individuals to be working with. So this event is for our community. You're the experts in what you do. Know your why, know why you do it, and what is the benefit. Like, that will be your absolute superpower. And yeah, just think back to who our audience is, what else is going on. Their time is precious. They want to come away from this whole event feeling very inspired, and that's inspired by the speakers, inspired by their peers, and inspired by you guys too, and the new things that you might be doing. And yeah, they're just looking for new people to connect, and people who are going to support them in their journeys too. So having a think back to our booth, and following up from what Daniel has shared, I've got a few slides to give you some, hopefully give you some ideas about setting up your booth. This was one of our exhibitors from our Design Nation corner in Liverpool earlier this year. So you can see it's quite simple, but to walk past that quickly, very impactful. And as Daniel mentioned, the most important place for me to start is to plan. And we are all here to make sure that the show goes well for you. So the earlier you start planning, the better. And that's the exciting part as well, the kind of trial and error. In my previous role, I helped the brand that I worked for with a bit of wholesale business to business development, and being at trade shows. So we would do a test run of what our event stand would look like, literally masking tape on the floor to see what it felt like when we would stand in it, and then kind of building up the visuals from there. We'd take photos, so we knew what the plan was on the day. And obviously you can make changes if you get there and you're like, oh no, actually that's not feeling right, but at least you have a plan. You don't want to be making decisions about what goes where live on the day if you can avoid it. Allow yourself time for any unexpected problems that might impact you. So yeah, just make sure you've got that good plan for your display. Try not to overwhelm your stand. If you are a product supplier, try not to overwhelm your stand with products, which can be really hard when choosing what to take and what to leave behind. But a carefully curated stand will have a much better impact. You know, maybe mix some of your bestsellers in with some of your new wow factor pieces. Take things that are maybe a work in progress. Like, it is also a kind of marketing experience for you to get feedback from people like, oh, what do you think? I was thinking about doing this. Do you think that would work? And have a look around, go around shop windows, have a look at shops and brands that you admire. How are they styling their windows? And think about your booth perhaps as that window display. Take inspiration from them. Remember, you'll have a plug socket, so hopefully that will make you feel a little bit calmer about maybe leaving things behind. You can have a whole digital catalog, back catalog, anything that you might be able to do. So and all the things you could possibly offer. And so, yeah, just again, think about that buyer being busy between conference sessions, and just think about how you can make your stand quite impactful, and they could like maybe walk past very fast and take away some key messages. Okay, that's UK made, that's sustainable, or you know, that's it's really colorful. Prominent branding and any messaging about your values, materials you're using, charitable efforts are really great in this context. And yeah, Daniel touched on this idea about keeping people on your stand. Can you do any interactive demonstrations? When I was at Top Drawer just a couple of weeks ago, Laura from Just Trade just suddenly took it upon herself to do a live jewelry demonstration. It was wonderful. It was memorable. It taught me something, and it brought the brand to life. I understood how just how handmade their stuff is. I didn't really realize it. Perhaps you've got software that you can get people to interact with to show them how your digital solutions can work for them, you know, get people using the stuff, get them touching things. Or perhaps you want to do something completely unrelatable to your brand, but it's fun and memorable, or just nice, like sweets. Everybody likes a little bite to eat around the floor. And lastly, do keep sustainability in mind. We want to try to avoid waste. So if you're creating new materials or graphics, think about ways they can be reused and be as evergreen as possible. So the next few slides have some ideas from other shows to help maybe bring these ideas to life. So here we've got some displays. You can see that clear, bold messaging. If I'm whizzing past the show, desperate to get to the showcase stage, but I'm trying to take things in, I'm like, okay, that's 100% recycled. I understand that. That's going to stick with me. I'm going to go back there. Thinking about how a range could even be displayed in the store, you know, on a table, is also really great. It help the buyer visualize that in their shop. Maybe you are creating things out of waste, and you could bring that into the exhibition as well. Here we see the use of graphics. So the image, the first image on the left, that's like, you know, full graphics, and which Fully Connected will help with. So yeah, you would just send that in, but again, it's bringing more about what the brand values are, and then so you may be taken in by that storytelling. You're like, that's what I want to align with, and then that filters down into the products. The display in the middle, really simple, looks pretty cost effective. The grid is made using washi tape, so it won't leave a residue, but it's really playful and impactful and great for their brand. And then lastly, this is thinking about evergreen display techniques. That pegboard can be used for product shots afterwards. It can be taken and reused time and time again. These are some images from our Liverpool show. So just again showing how just simple posters and picture frames could be used to get that brand ethos across. You know, making the world a greener place, our carbon footprint, you know, it's telling that story. If you know, even if you are busy talking to a group of people and somebody else is walking by and doesn't want to interrupt, they can maybe just get a bit of the storytelling without you having to do it. thinking about how you can fill that white wall space and bring it to life. If you've won any awards, bring them. Shout about all the positive credentials that you have, and these can all start as really great conversation starters too. So these are some of my favorite calling cards from shows that I've been collecting over the years. I've termed this memorable marketing materials, or because they're so fun and so yummy. You're in a busy, so think about it, like you're in this busy environment, competing with the conference sessions, networking events. How do you stand out and entice delegates to visit your stand? What memorable marketing materials can you use to promote your brand, and how can you keep it sustainable? I just love how playful it all is, and it kind of connects with you to the brand in a different way. I think that catalogs get outdated very quickly, unless it's digital and they're being updated all the time. They're also heavy to carry around. So yeah, I think people are much more selective about what they will pick up and take away from a show. So yeah, you want to try and think about different things, quirky things that might stand out. Like these examples, they're useful, they have a purpose. The little blue flyer down in the bottom left, that's a sachet of flowers, seed sachet, sorry. The biscuit brand had a live icing demo. You could take away the biscuit as a business card. And then up at the top, I loved Bookspeed's idea to use bookmarks that highlight their bestsellers or their favorites. So even if you're not able to necessarily have a conversation, there's some, it shows that they know what they're talking about, but it's also so true to their brand. So maybe you want to think about what you could create that's memorable, won't go to waste, and trying to make it again evergreen or just fun. So yeah, we don't want to be lading down our buyers with a lot of clutter. And we at the association also have a commitment to reduce the amount of stuff we are producing. So we have taken the decision over the years to not produce any more tote bags. We ran through that stock. So we don't do kind of giveaways. We're not producing stuff, but you can definitely offer out fun samples from your from your stand. So there's a little video that's going to play here.
Sorry,
just a little, yeah.
Sorry, before we go into this next section, just a couple of questions and a couple of comments that I wanted to throw in.
Yeah.
Firstly, obviously, you gave a few photos there of stand examples. April has asked, where's the best place to see photo examples of stands from previous years? Do we have more photos on file from last year that we can share?
Yeah, we do have some. Yeah, we do have some photos. I can definitely bring some out or add them into the exhibitor guide if that would be helpful.
I think let's create something that we can share with all of our exhibitors, particularly from last year, and if there was any from Newport, but I think we've more from last year, to give, just so that you can get a feel for it. April, I'm not sure if this is your first year with us, but it would certainly give you a really good feel for what our trade show looks like. And how, very quick practical question for Daniel, how best to attach framed pictures to the fascia boards?
To the fascias or the shell?
Well, no, I think, Dominic, do you mean the shell rather than, because the fascia is what we call the name, that's the name board, right, at the top. Yeah, so I think it'll be the panels of the shell itself.
There's two ways that I've seen it done. One is obviously using the tape, or you can get the sort of the grippy things that you stick up and you can just pull out. Those are quite handy, just to kind of move things around. If you want to be really creative, I've seen somebody do a what's called an overlay panel, which sits on top of the shell scheme with a bit of branding on, and they've stuck it straight to that. And the reason why they can do that if they've ordered the overlay panels is because that is, in essence, you've bought it, you can take that with you, and the same for anything else anything that's not the shell scheme that's built. If you're ordering and putting stuff on top of overlay, it's yours. So if it's damaged, then obviously it doesn't matter.
So I think
We've
what's
also
important,
seen people using S hooks that they could just hang on the top of it, top of the shell. They'll be able to order shelving through you guys as well. So if they wanted
Yeah.
to just have like propped up pictures, that would be another way to do it.
Yeah.
yeah, or you can do different things with the shelving because it's not the actual panel, it's right that you can do. I think the important thing to remember though, Dominic, is these panels are relatively, they won't take huge amounts of weight, so heavy, lots of heavily framed pictures. I think possibly Fee's suggestion of propping them on shelving is a better option than actually looking to hang them, just in case of the weight. So they're all considerations. But again, I think maybe if you've got really technical questions like that, getting in touch directly with Daniel and his colleagues to talk through what is it that you're thinking of doing, and then how can they help you make that happen is probably your best option. And you've got plenty of time at the moment to do that. So I would just suggest that that would be a good way forward for you. I think I just wanted to add in a couple of comments here as well, about, we've talked about oh, sorry, somebody's actually just added in for pictures, use hooks over the frame and lower to the picture height. So I think that's similar to what Fee was saying with the S hooks there. So I think we've talked quite a bit about what you can do to make your stand out and make it look good. Firstly, the floor plan has been very, very carefully drawn up. We took a lot of time over it, which one of the reasons we were later going on sale to suppliers this year than in previous years is that we wanted to get it right, because it is an octagon, and also taking on board feedback from last year. But we have drawn it up so that we are maximizing the line of sight to all stands as much as we possibly can, from the kind of corridors, the gangways through the trade show hall, which again we have kept as wide as we possibly can, so people aren't hemmed in. You're not right on top of each other. There's space, there's line of sight across everything. No stand is facing a wall, for example. Everybody should be facing out into the corridors and the gangways. And both the venue teams at our conference and trade show in Newport and this year in Liverpool individually came up to me, and people from the event manager who's walking the floor all the time to the my AV technicians who aren't anything to do with the trade show but are to do with the stages that we have around the space, have come up to me to comment on just how beautiful our trade show is. And they see trade shows all the time of all different shapes and sizes, but they have seen retail trade shows and they have commented on just how beautiful and colourful and attractive our trade show is. So we are very aware of how much of an investment coming along and exhibiting with us is to you. But the investment on looking at the additional options of graphics, of shelving, of making the absolute most that you can of your stand is really worth thinking about, because it elevates your stand and it elevates our trade show, and our delegates go away talking about it. And our feedback from Liverpool in March was that it was the best trade show that a lot of delegates have been to. And we are hearing more and more delegates saying they don't necessarily go to Spring Fair anymore. They don't necessarily go to Top Drawer. If they had to choose one, it would be ours, because it is curated for them. It is really specific to the cultural sector. And the aesthetics are all part of that, because they all come from really beautiful venues and they're used to beautiful aesthetics. So I just think that's a really important consideration, that if you can look at additional investment above and beyond what you've paid for already with your stand, it is worth looking at the different options that you can look at with Fully Connected.
Yeah, thanks, Vanilla. And yeah, it doesn't have to be that it's a one and done thing. You can think about what we've taken away, and I'll put together some more slides that are maybe a little bit more detailed about, yeah, okay, what are we going to use again, and what can come with me to another event or could be used as a photography prop. So what we're going to talk about now is we're going to have a look at SwapCard, which is also included in your exhibitor package, and what everyone will be using. So there will be a little video that should start playing. So we utilize this app called SwapCard, and this video is going to show how we can navigate around it. And we'll give you a brief overview today, and when we come closer to the event, we'll dive deeper into how to use it and how to maximize it, hopefully with an expert from their team. It's really the central hub for the conference and trade show. The program, the networking, sponsors, and exhibitor booths are all in one place. So yeah, you can have a kind of little look at what the sessions are going on with the program. This is where you would find all the exhibitors, and your virtual exhibitor booth is really there to showcase your company, your products, and your key resources. You can filter by product or expertise, by credentials, and you add all of these elements in services offered. And then I think I move on to just having a look at this is what your booth could look like. So yeah, you can, like your real booth, do it up as much or as little as you want. You've got the ability to showcase your products. You could put an exclusive offer on there, and you've got the ability to connect with delegates and other exhibitors ahead of the event, which really extends those networking opportunities. You've got personalized profiles. So here's me, for visibility and easy engagement with potential leads. You can share a little bit about what you're interested in. So I've got the about me, that's what I'm looking for, and what your interests are. So yeah, you'll get access to this ahead of all of the delegates getting put into it. So you've got time to kind of familiarize yourself with it if you're new, if you haven't exhibited with us before. And it's really important that you do get this set up, because you've got the ability to scan badges. There'll be a QR code on all of the delegates and the exhibitor badges, and that's how you can quickly build up your contacts. It's great because you're not scribbling down, making typing errors on bits of paper, and it's quick. And people who have been returning time and time are more fluent in how to use it. And then it's great, you can check out the program, see who's speaking, what topics are going to be covered, so you can think about who you might be meeting and plan your time there. And as I say, like, we'll go into that in much more detail, but it's just to show you that this is included in your package. It's another element to the event.
I think just a quick extra point on SwapCard, for those of you that haven't used it before, you get analytics on the other side of it. So you get information about who has viewed your virtual stand, who has bookmarked products or bookmarked any of your resources and things like that. We will, as Fee said, go into that in a lot of detail at our next webinar, which will be in December, early December. We're looking at the Friday the 5th of December at the moment. We just need to confirm with SwapCard their availability. Keep an eye out for that date coming up and being able to book it, because that's going to be an important session for you to join, for everybody to join, whether you're new or not. But yeah, make the most of SwapCard. It's a really, really great resource that we have. Amber has raised her hand. So Amber, I'm going to push a button and allow you to talk. Hopefully it'll work. If you wanted to ask a question. Okay, well,
mute.
Still on, you're on mute, Amber. I'm not sure if you have tried to ask a question, but we can come back to you. We'll move on. Oh, hello. You've taken your hand down. Okay, if you do have a question or anything in the chat, please feel free to pop it in there, or pop your hand back up if you would like to unmute. Thanks, Fee.
Yeah, no, it is great. And you can message people, you can, try and organize to meet people for, a cup of tea, or invite them to your stand. And yeah, and people know how to use it now. It's just kind of embedded in the event, I would say. So just another really great resource that we've got for you. So thinking about now moving on to sustainability, obviously this is huge on all of our agendas, and we do understand that coming to these kinds of events, doing trade shows, can produce opportunities for waste, and not to make the greenest decisions, but I wanted just to highlight some ways that we can maybe work together to decrease our impact. So travel, can you get there without car? Can you car share? Birmingham is really well connected, so perhaps traveling by rail and shipping goods via an eco-friendly courier could be an option for you. Again, think about the materials that you're using, your booth design, what can be reused, what is useful, what would be a meaningful and usable giveaway. If you do need to dispose of materials, how can you minimize this? Could you donate things to a school or something? I don't know. Can you think of ways to dispose of them responsibly? And as a commitment from us to make our events more sustainable, we now operate a fully plant-based, vegan, vegetarian menu where possible, working with the ICC to source local ingredients where possible. And I think, yeah, the food that we had in Liverpool, I'm still dreaming about those poke bowls. They were amazing. So yeah, the food is a huge part of the event as well. It gets a lot of good feedback. So yeah, then thinking about wrapping up and post-show follow-up, just have a think and consider what you can do after the show to follow up with your connections. Make use of the app, like Fionnuala was saying, have a look into the insights, look into the data. You'll have all your leads and contacts in there. And so yeah, keep in touch with your new connections or your familiar connections. Think about how you intend to follow up. And again, plan for this, plan any emails, marketing that you want to send, add a personal touch, so that your leads don't feel like they're getting a blanket email. You know, we live in an AI world now, and I think we're starting to see, you can spot maybe where things are AI generated and people are craving that connection, as well as using the speed and the efficiencies of it. But yeah, you know, you've had this lovely, relaxed, fun event. Just continue those conversations before it's too late, and you know, maybe make just make it really personal. Fionnuala mentioned at the start of this webinar, we will send out a post-show survey, so please do fill this in. We'll go through it as a team, individually, over and over and over again, to make sure that our next event is brilliant, and that we are repeating what's worked and evaluating what maybe hasn't. And as Daniel kind of mentioned, what he's seen from some of his shows, we're open to ideas. Come to us, you know, like, just share any thoughts you might have. We want to make this a great event for you as well. Yeah, it just yeah. So think about the post-show follow up. So I'm going to wrap up with some quotes. Fionnuala mentioned that we've gotten some wonderful feedback, and here's just some of it. These are quotes from previous years that we've collected, just to give a sense of how wonderful this event will be and what people value and what they're taking away from it. And just to quickly touch on a couple of FAQs, and then we'll move into the open open Q&A. So accommodation. So we have good rates available. All of that will be shared on the exhibitor guide, and I believe it is on. Is it online already?
No, I was going to cover this anyway. So
yeah,
we have worked with the West Midlands Development Company, so their version of Convention Bureau. They have produced the most intuitive, best booking portal I've seen, and I've done a few of these now, and I've opted not to do them when it hasn't. I knew it wasn't going to work for us, but we do have that launching next week, and there is accommodation across a range of budgets, across a range of hotels in Birmingham city centre. And that portal, it doesn't just do the accommodation, it also has lots of other information about travel, about things to do, places to eat, etc. They've done a wonderful job. And the really great thing about them is, if you can't find what you're looking for on there, their contact details are going to be on our website and on the portal. And you can feel free to contact them directly if you have any specific questions around accommodation. So that will all go live next week.
Wonderful. So within your package, we include up to 2 team members. That's for all your catering, the badge printing, etc. You can add additional team members if you want to bring more of you, so you can get around the sessions. There's just an additional cost for that. And again, in the exhibitor form that'll be sent out, you just need to tick that and we'll follow up with you. Social events will be announced when we go on sale. You're welcome to come to as much as you want to. We want to, be filling the rooms with everybody. And then swap cards, as we mentioned, we'll explore this further. You'll be given access ahead of the event being open to the delegates. Use that time to update your profiles or start them from fresh. And our delegates should be added about 2 weeks before the event. That was the kind of sweet spot that we were advised. And then the next and final slide, you might want to just take a little screenshot of that. This is the key contacts that Fionnuala mentioned earlier. So yeah, come to me for anything. Our fully connected team are there to help you too. And we just want you to make sure that it's a super success. So thank you.
Thanks, Fee. And our email addresses for the Cultural Enterprises teams all on our website, and we'll make sure all of the contact details you need are available to you through the exhibitor manual.
Yeah.
And on the trade show side of the website. So there is an opportunity, if you've got any final burning questions that you want, particularly with having Daniel to hand, if there's anything particular around the kind of the build of your stand, please feel free to throw them into the chat or the Q&A just now, and we can deal with them. If you think of them after the call or next week, just email us and we will get them answered for you. Okay, so Jessica, Jessica, hello, Jess. I was wondering when I saw your name on the list. I'm just reading through your message. Okay. Start speaking with us as soon as you think it's a genuine option for you to do. We will be building the floor plan. Pretty much we start working on the conference as soon as the conference ends, if that makes sense. So if there's going to be a bespoke space that you're going to need, size that you're going to need, we need to know from the get-go so we can build that into the floor plan from the get-go. So yeah, I think that'll be a really interesting conversation to have. Very happy to have that conversation with you now. Obviously not right now, but we can set up a call with myself and Fee, or later on down the line, whenever you're ready, just drop me an email. You have my contact details. So that could be a really interesting option for you guys. When is the exhibitor's guide sent out, Fee? When is that available?
Yes, that will be available next week. I've got a few last details to finalize within that, but you will get that next week, and then you can
start reading through it. And as I said, that document may well get updated. You'll be sent a link where it's hosted on our website. That document may well get updated. If there's any key updates, we'll put that in an email with the link again to the manual, but just keep an eye on that, and for any of the comms coming through for any updates. If there's any other questions, please feel free to add them in, but just a few comments from me before wrapping up. More will be, I've mentioned next week a couple of times. We are going on sale to delegates on Wednesday. That's the plan. That has already had to change a couple of times with Paul coming in as chief executive. It kind of kiboshed my timescales to quite a large degree on a lot of the conference side of things. Luckily, we were well ahead of the game with trade show. But obviously with him now on board, needed to just get him up to speed as quickly as possible. But the plan is that we go on sale to delegates next Wednesday. The early bird deadline will be this side of Christmas. That's when we're going to see the real spike in sales and delegate numbers. My intention is to be able to share with you a list of organizations and job titles that have booked just after the early bird deadline closes. So just before Christmas. We don't share, a regular question we get asked is, when do we get a delegate list? We don't share a full delegate list with email addresses anymore, haven't done for many years. The full delegate list will be on swap card, and as Fee mentioned, delegates will be added to that 2 weeks out from the conference itself. They can choose whether to share their email address on there. We don't automatically share it. Obviously, just privacy laws now are so restrictive. And many years ago, I worked at a Chamber of Commerce where you did not send a delegate list without email addresses, because that was the whole point of events. The world has changed significantly over the last 10 to 15 years. So we don't do that. Like I said, I will share a delegate list with you, or a list that shows organization name and job titles, to give you an idea as far in advance as possible before you start prepping all your stock that you're bringing with you, or kind of final preparations for your stand, so you know who your audience is going to be. And then about a month out, I will look to share, a month to 3 weeks out, I will look to share a list that gives you more information. So names, job titles, organization names, and just kind of give you an idea of numbers as well, so you know how much stock to bring. Basically, everything that we do over the next few months in relation to you as exhibitors, or if you're still considering becoming an exhibitor, is to support you. Fee has just said it, but we want this to be a success for you. We want your stand to look fantastic. We want your organization to build connections within the sector. And it's not a sales, it's not an orders driven trade show. We've made that clear. We always make that. We're very transparent about that. It is much, it tends to be kind of longer lead times on a lot of this. But the whole point of it is about making those connections. And not only connections with our delegates, but connections with the other suppliers, the other exhibitors. It's a really supportive group of people. Make contact, build those connections now, start doing it now, ahead of being on site in Birmingham, especially if you're new to us here at the association. Daniel briefly mentioned opportunities for sponsorship. There are opportunities for you to have a platform above and beyond your stand on site. If you want to have a chat about it, just pop me an email, and we can chat about that. As I said, more next week around the accommodation portal, delegates going on sale, the social events, all of that is coming next week. And keep an eye out for that December webinar date, because we'll be going through really key logistical information. We'll do a full rundown of Swapcard, but we will also be going through what to expect when you get to Birmingham, how it's all going to work, what you need to think about, what you need to prep, what we need from you to get all of your information across to us by the deadlines Fee is provided, so that we can give you access to Swapcard. So we've got the right name board printed for you, all of those things. And that's it. I don't think there's any more questions. Jess, I can't. I've got a full Friday. I can't believe it. I usually keep Fridays clear of meetings, but I've got back-to-back meetings all day today up until 4:45. I'll drop you an email if that's okay. We genuinely want this to be a success for you. We need you to do well. We need you to support the sector. We need you to collaborate with the cultural venues in the sector. And we'll do whatever we can to make sure it is a success for you. Any questions at all, you'll have our email addresses. Please get in touch. Thank you for your time today. And we look forward to seeing you in December, if we're not talking to you before then. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.